All right, hello there. I'm Desmond Crone, and I'm the CEO of Desmond Garcia. And today I am here with the famous, the one and only unique Randy Hetrick, founder of TRX and also founder now of new venture, OutFit. Happy 1 year anniversary.
Thank you, my friend.
Randy and I go back more than a decade. One of the best highlights of my personal career was working with Randy when TRX Training was an initial startup, and there we worked together to grow brand and video and marketing.
And he does mean startup, like boot scrape startup, which is something below bootstrap. That was
the
man,
time. Yeah,
long time ago.
Small office, lots of people, and I love the vibe, and it was an exciting place to be. And you know, that's kind of the way that I'm feeling now about OutFit. Thank you, by the way, for having us. So the reason that we're here today is because we just shot a lot of content, a lot of video content.
The first commercials for OutFit.
And that's why we wanted to talk a little bit and talk about kind of what OutFit is like today and what the experience is like, what the business is about, and go a little bit deeper into video, but that's a little bit later. So why don't we first start talking about OutFit in general, or start talking a little bit about perhaps TRX and give us a bit of background.
Yeah, well, I would feel like I had skipped something important if I didn't. First of all, thank you for coming and shooting this for us, because our first commercials, I mean, it's like, it is a little Back to the Future, man. Desmond and I were together in the grittiest, crappiest little office you could ever imagine on the western edge of San Francisco back when TRX was just an idea. And that's what really made TRX, which became one of the leading brands in functional training. It put us on the map, was our content.
Right.
And nobody knew what a strap, why they would use a strap that didn't have weights attached to it. It didn't stretch. And we had to build, the story all in content. And that was in no small measure due to you, my friend. And so I was thrilled when I think startups must be a little bit like childbirth is for women. If you really remembered how hard the first one was, you might not do it again, but there's an amnesia that sets in, and you start thinking about all the quaint stuff about a startup or childbirth, right? And then you get enough distance, you're like, yeah, I'd like to do that again.
Sure.
So here we are doing it again, and why not start back, right, where we were 15, 17 years ago, and build something maybe even better.
Right. Randy, I don't know if I've ever said this or mentioned it, but one of the things that I think about in working with you was when we started populating with a bunch of content, you said, we need to build a content library, and we're going to put this on something called YouTube. And back then there was, the idea of having a subscription to YouTube or a YouTube channel didn't exist. And so I really like how you've always embraced content and video storytelling as kind of this, core component of what you build, but also revolutionary ideas. And one of the things that has blown my mind is this revolutionary concept of OutFit. So if you could just give a summary of kind of, for people who aren't aware of the brand and might be seeing this, or investors or whoever for the first time,
Sure.
Talk a little bit about the journey of OutFit and why it's important today.
Well, I mean, I have a little bit of a sickness maybe when I see a problem and I think I have a decent solution for it, right? I just can't, I got to go explore it. And that's really how OutFit came about. I mean, you remember 10 years ago at TRX, we did something called TRX on Tour. And we took, a Sprinter van, tricked it out, drove it around the country for 2 years, doing activations. Okay. And the thing that was cool about it is when we would get the right place, the right people, the coach all together, we had these amazing experiences. And afterward, everybody would come up and ask, hey, can I join as a member? Can I get hired as a coach, or can I buy one of these as a franchise? But that was back before online registration and billing. before geolocation, before social media even. And so the lift was very heavy. Well, I never forgot, though, how great the experience was. And as we rolled forward, along came all those technologies. Uber brought geolocation, MindBody brought online registration and billing, and social media became this great platform for communicating efficiently with large group of followers. And so, when the pandemic hit, I had already been really thinking about launching this outdoor mobile training franchise that would focus on group fitness, but would also be able to roll to your house, to your cul-de-sac, to your school, and do private, right? And so we started working on OutFit. I really started working on it in earnest kind of halfway through 2019. Mm-hmm. And then along came this pesky little thing called COVID, right? And all of a sudden, what seemed like a good idea kind of became the idea from my perspective, right? Because all the gyms were closed, trainers were all thrown out of work, members of gyms had no place to work out, and a lot of them had never really worked outdoors on their own before. And so I saw this opportunity to serve folks outdoors. And by the way, up to 80% of the country doesn't belong to a gym. So our goal at OutFit is definitely not to go compete with the gyms. I love what the gyms are doing, and I've been a partner of them forever with TRX. The idea with OutFit was, let's go out and serve the 80% of the country's population that doesn't belong to a gym or doesn't use a trainer. And that's exactly what we've kicked off, and so far, so good.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things I love is training outdoors. I don't think I ever knew how much I loved it until I had the option to return to the gym or keep training outside after COVID, because gyms were shut down. I was working out in my house by myself, doing all those things, and I just became like, being outside. The experience of being outside is it. For me, I love running more than anything. Why do I run so much? Why do I love the feeling of training outdoors? Why do I do HIIT workouts in the park? And, I think it's something that, as human beings, especially over the last 2 years, we've come to appreciate how important it is for us to be outside and outdoors.
There's an energy, right, that happens when you're outdoors that's unlike anything else you can recreate indoors. It's being out there, the breeze is blowing, the sun's shining. Here in Florida, sometimes the rain's falling, right? But it's warm. Yeah. And as we say at OutFit, if it's raining, we're still training. And and there's kind of we're finding with the culture that people live a lot of their lives indoors in front of a screen. Mm-hmm. They live a fairly curated life, and there's something kind of, I don't know, a little primordial, and it's just part of, I think, the human DNA to get outdoors, right? To get out there, be in nature, and then to have the community of a bunch of other friends that you see at your classes, and you meet up in a park. We got locations all over South Florida that are just super cool, and there's nothing like, one of our offerings is yoga. And I did it's power yoga, yoga under the sun. I was out, did a yoga class recently, and at the end, after like sweating, and working hard with the power yoga part, we were in Savasana. And as I'm laying there, I happen to open my eyes, and what do I see, right? Blue sky with these like billowy white clouds just slowly moving across. I've done a lot of yoga and a lot of Savasana. Yeah. I have never had a Savasana experience like that. And that's the kind of thing that we want to, we don't necessarily want people to quit their gyms. We want to, if you belong to a gym, great. You should try adding OutFit a couple times a week, right, to get out, get fit, yeah, right? And kind of, it's not, we always talk about not only elevating people's heart rates, but elevating their spirit. And that's right, a lot easier to do outdoors than it is indoors.
You were talking a little bit about how we're in front of screens and spending most of our time in this virtual reality. And, it really relates to the ideas that you have developed with the brand stories the brand videos that we're creating today. Do you want to talk a little bit about, how that might be relevant, or some of the thinking behind the stories?
I'd actually love to talk for just a second about each of the stories that we shot today, because
that's where we go.
What we tried to do was to capture sort of three cohorts, three different kinds of people that represent big numbers of people out in the world, right? So one of the commercials focuses on just the harried, haggard mom, right? Because how many moms have so many jobs, and then they got kids, and we dads, we try to help, but I'll admit it, we're kind of lame. Like the moms are the prime movers, and what we wanted to tell was the story of every mom. Like, man, this just never ends, right? The kids, right. The dogs, the laundry, and the work, in addition to all of that, holding a career. And so we wanted to take the mom and really kind of, with some humor, show every mom.
Yeah, I think we did a really good job with that. And it's not even all of the moments. You can show, details in the story. You don't have to show everything, but I think that came through kind of, the desire to step outside of the pressures that are experienced in the home sometimes, or being inside, right?
And we called this the Daydream series, right? Because the idea is, the mom, there she is in the middle of all the mayhem of a morning, and she looks out and she sees this awesome workout going on out in the blue sky and the grass under the trees with the wind blowing, and a bunch of people that are out there ready to just get their sweat on. And she just wants to be out of the barking dog, screaming kid, annoying husband, like all of it, and just be there, right? And so that one, I think, is going to really be fun, and it's going to hit. The goal is for a lot of people to go, that's me, and so I'm super excited about that one.
Good, awesome.
Then the second,
right in time for Mother's Day. Right?
Just in time for Mother's Day. That's going to be our Mother's Day release. And then the second, a month later, right, plus or minus, Father's Day. And I was happy to get to represent the overworked dad, because a lot of us dads, it's different than the moms, but it feels a lot alike, right? It's the grind of a heavy career, trying to be good dads to help with our kids, trying to take care of our relationships, and you just sort of feel like, man, when is this grind gonna have a little break? And then you look out, and again, right, that beautiful scene of the OutFit van and all these happy people ready to get going and do something nice for themselves, and pow, there I am, right? And then we have some humor in here that snaps us all back to reality, and I think it's going to be pretty good fun.
Yeah.
And then our last of the commercials that we shot today was it's kind of a big cohort of folks who have found themselves, especially over the last couple of years with COVID, living on a screen.
Yeah.
They're indoors. They wake up, they go to bed at night reading something on their phone or watching something on their laptop or iPad. They wake up in the morning, first thing they do is, look at their phone. Then they're supposed to get up and all by themselves in their apartment, get on an exercise bike, right, or a rower, and work out in front of a screen with somebody yapping at them from the other side of the screen. And it's just isolation and screen life, kind of to the nth degree. And then he looks up and sees, not virtual reality, actual reality.
There you go.
Right? And that's really what we want to be about. Is OutFit is all about actual reality, being out there with friends in nature and doing something that's great for yourself. So I think these are really going to be cool, and they're going to bring the essence of OutFit to life when you get to see the workout going on.
Yeah, I do too, and I was really happy to work with the team and see that come to life, and looking forward to publishing those. I wanted to ask you just kind of a quick question about the concept of storytelling within brands. So One thing that was interesting when we first started talking about this project in particular was you wanting to. There's a difference between creating content that's educational and content that has a story. And I really think like your grasp of what the story is for OutFit and kind of the why behind it and communicating that is really phenomenal with how early your brand is right now. So could you talk a little bit about your thoughts on brand storytelling or why you think it's important to tell those kind of stories within brands or through video, especially in earlier stages of companies?
You mentioned something that I'd almost forgotten about, which was, I mean, we were very early to the party at TRX in content marketing, I guess you would say, right? Telling your story, what you're about, what you stand for, how your stuff works, telling that in video format. And then we were really early, so early that YouTube ended up doing a success story feature on TRX.
Right, I remember that, yeah.
YouTube called us and said, hey, and they did one on us and one on GoPro at the same time because we were two brands that had done, in YouTube's view, a really good job of kind of creating fun, compelling content. And if you remember, like, I insisted way back when that we keep all the bloopers. You remember the blooper reels that we put?
Yeah, of course. I love the bloopers, man.
Yeah, and the reason that was so important, and I still have people telling me bloopers were the best part, Randy, because that was kind of part of that telling people what you're about. Yeah. And part of what we were about is authenticity, right? So we gaff our lines, let out the odd expletive in the middle of trying to deliver a line. That stuff is funny, and it allowed our followers and our fans to connect with guys like me, Frazier, Frankel, who were an on-screen talent but made a lot of errors, and it was funny. And so I think that what we wanted to do was try to tell the essence of what TRX was. In different forms of content, and that's fast forward, right? Almost 20 years, hard to believe. Here we are with a new service, fundamentally innovative. Nobody understands how it works, right? It is very much like kind of the Uber of fitness, and we need we need to tell that story. But I've never had huge marketing budgets ever. And we really want it to feel, again, authentic. I mean, we don't use models. Everybody that you'll see in our commercials, there are diehards that come to our classes. Some of them are hitting their 20th class by the 9th day of the month because they love it so much. And so we got a bunch of them together. They all volunteered to join us, and we got out there and had some fun. Our lead coach is the main coach, so we didn't use hired talent, we used us. Right. And to me that matters because it should be authentic, right? I think it shouldn't be overproduced. It should be fun and it should be relatable, and I hope we hit that today.
Yeah, you said something, I think we did. I think we really did. Like, I love the idea of authenticity, and I've carried that with me since TRX. But one of the things you said is you've never dealt with large marketing budgets. So what is it that has been like the key to your success in business growth, in expanding and creating an international brand?
I mean, hey, to the extent that I've had some success, it's really, it comes from, I think, a couple of factors. One is it's always easier to build a business if you're solving a problem, right? Because if you're that sort of the euphemistic solution in search of a problem, that makes for a hard business to build. It's like being Sisyphus and you're rolling that rock uphill, right? And every time you stop rolling, let go, it goes back down to the bottom because you're not actually solving a problem. If you solve a problem, and sometimes it could be a problem people didn't even realize they had before, but when you show them the right solution, they go, wow, that makes my life better. Yeah. Well, if you hit that vein, right, then what happens is the market pulls you toward them. And so part of it is solving a real problem, even if it's something that people didn't really realize at first. And then I think the other part is putting together a great team, because that was something that, I don't have many talents, but if I have one, it seems to be the ability to pull, great people together, keep them together, and do some hard stuff that has, you know, a fun reward on the other side.
Yeah, I agree with that. And, you know, I've seen, you know, for my business, you know, our agency was pretty much your traditional marketing agency that did everything from creative to strategic. And, you know, when we started working with elite brands, we found that they would come to us with a specific problem. For instance, Adidas is paying me $4 million. Why isn't it 7? And we were able to identify key drivers with their brand that would enable them to give an exact range of what they should be paid, because when it comes to personal brands, there are certain problems that exist. So I think you're exactly right. Listening to the market, understanding those problems, and then addressing those with your business offering is really key. One thing I wanted to ask you, and then we can wrap this up, is, you know, what do you see for OutFit in the short term, say 18 months to, and then the long term, what's the long term vision?
Well, you know, it won't surprise you to hear I have a fairly expansive long-term vision. The short term, you know, we're running South Florida as a corporate market. And the reason for that is because this is a franchise, right? It is intended to be built as a franchise. Before I go sell anybody a business, you know, before I go to a trainer and say, look, you should invest in this business. This can be your business. I want to know we've proven this thing. So, you know, we're expanding all across South Florida. We're running this as a corporate market right now. And, you know, we're going to grow our membership throughout 2022 and just do a great job delivering our services, keep refining things. And then probably early in 2023, which I'm very excited about, we're going to start selling franchises, and we're going to expand, you know, not only within Florida, but to other states across the nation. And we're already getting, unbelievably, a lot of inbound interest from Europe and Asia. So people are watching, right, what we're doing and saying, hey, could you bring that to me?
Sure.
But what I'm super excited about long-term, Des, is that I think this business, because it's such a low cost of entry relative to, say, opening a brick and mortar, and then the operating expenses, once you're open, are so small that this model is inexpensive to get into, has really significant revenue potential per vehicle, and because the expense structure is so low, it cash flows very quickly, which means it's not such a risky startup, right? It doesn't take so much money. So I'm excited because I think we're gonna be able to not only, you know, be a great opportunity for like pro athletes who finish their, and I'm not talking the Drew Breeses who have massive contracts. I'm talking your average athlete that's got 2 or 3 years in the league. You know, they leave, they've got some little bit of local celebrity, a little bit of money. This is a great business for them.
Yeah.
Veterans, right? Veterans. I'm passionate, you know, after a career as a SEAL, I really have an affection for vets. Well, when guys and gals get out of uniform, they don't have much money. They all know fitness, right? And a lot of them want to own their own business. So we think we're going to have a great opportunity there. And then I think some other kind of non-traditional audiences for business ownership, female business owners, minority business owners. OutFit can really be inclusive and allow a lot of folks, starting with trainers and going through all the others that I talked about, to build a business without too much risk up front that can become a very successful business that they can then scale by adding units, and ultimately can create real net worth for themselves and their families, you know, over a 5 to 10 year period. And I want to be part of that.
Right. Because, and I think it is inclusive because outdoors was made for everybody, you know. It's for everybody. So I felt that. I really enjoyed, you know, being in Florida with you in Plantation today, telling the stories, you know, working with the team, working with, you know, your loyal base of customers.
And you saw what
trainers.
they looked like, right?
Yeah, they're a range of everybody.
They're every
right?
every
shade,
of
every
human,
weight,
every size, every fitness level.
Exactly.
It's really exciting. It's right down the middle, about half men, half women.
Yeah,
which is a blessing if you can have a business that appeals to both genders equally. You know, and so I think we're
and it rained.
And it rained and
it's sun and it rained and it's sun. So it's been an awesome day.
When it's raining, we're training. So you know. Yeah, so that was great, and I appreciate you, man.
All right.
I'm super excited to see
Cool, man.
what these are.
Thanks
gonna
for
do.
having me. Appreciate
you
it.
for
Good to
being
see you,
with
man.
us.